Welcome back to Improvision Entertainment. My name is Hunter Munn, and this is more of Euro Truck Simulator 2, the game that won the birthday month poll for what games I'll be playing during my birthday month of September. Over here is a little picture-in-picture that is TYT. I am currently listening to the news. You haven't missed much, but this is for Wednesday, September the 7th, which from my perspective is a day and a half ago, and for you is very, very aged. I've tried to balance the audio a little bit better. If you don't want to see or hear the news, I understand there are plenty of other videos in this playlist, but otherwise, trigger warning for the news, because who knows? It could be anything. Okay. We have just picked up the cargo in Turin, and we're going to go to Genoa. Or is it Genova? Oh no, Molly and I had this conversation, I no longer remember. But in any event, we're going south for continuity's sake. And we are going to... Oh, you know what? I forgot to hit play on the video. And... Here we go. And we are going to be going towards... Do you remember a couple of videos ago, or if you're watching the big master playlist, a lot of videos ago, in which there was a quarry in Italy that was off on like a single lane road through a bunch of narrow little tunnels, and I was like, this is a really weird place. I bet there's like, you know, a special achievement or something for going up in here. I was right, there is an achievement for going up in there. The news seems to have lagged out. I will check that in a second. I'll give it a moment to reply. For all I know, I've actually lost the internet because, you know, that happens sometimes when I'm streaming. This is a nice blue tractor.
Get ready to turn right.
Alright.
Turn right.
I don't know what's going on with the news. Hold on. Pause. What the hell? What has happened? This entire window is gone bad. How do I refresh the window? I've never had that happen before. The window froze. I wonder if it screwed up frame rate or anything. Huh, it's like a first episode curse. Refresh page of content. I had to go into a special menu and hit a button on that.
Okay, we're talking about highly sensitive documents that are so sensitive.
Okay, I don't know what happened there, but hopefully I fixed it now.
Government facility. So Donald Trump was, in fact, according to sources who are close to the investigation, who leaked this information to the Washington Post, was in possession of classified documents describing a foreign government's military defenses, including nuclear capabilities. And some of the seized documents detail top secret U.S. operations so closely guarded that even senior intelligence officials are kept in the dark about them.
Alright, anyway, moving on.
Again, should not be stored at Mar-a-Lago, but they were.
If anybody in chat wants to start a point of conversation so I can stop the news, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I am trucking.
They were finally seized by the FBI thanks to the search that was conducted. That search was done, of course, after a federal judge signed off on the warrant necessary to conduct the search. And just a little reminder about how many documents Trump took with him to Mar-a-Lago from the White House. After months of trying, literally months of trying, according to government court filings, the FBI has recovered more than 300 classified documents from Mar-a-Lago this year, 184 in a set of 15 boxes sent to the National Archives and Records Administration in January. 38.
Yeah, well, don't scratch your nose while driving. I am just full of accidents waiting to happen today, apparently.
Unearthed in a court-approved search on August 8th. And we should be clear that not all of the documents seized are highly classified or top secret.
Is that exit only, or is that you should exit?
There was reason for government officials to be concerned
You should
about
exit.
Trump's possession of some of these documents. Investigators
Traveling more roads we have not traveled before, obviously on purpose. Gotta go for that long-term achievement. Always be aiming for the long-term achievements if you know them. Pull out your non-spoiler guide and go for the big achievement guide, like, figure out what you need to be doing over a long period of time. I got a lot of Venom strikes I need to do in Spider-Man Miles Morales.
A secure government facility, just a little bit, okay? Especially when you consider the fact that you have a former president who was selling memberships to members of foreign governments to Mar-a-Lago when he was president. They wanted access to him. So you have all of these foreign government officials running around Mar-a-Lago, where for the past 18 months, there were top secret, highly classified documents just stored in the storage closet. No big deal. No big deal. Like, when it comes to
Some big deal.
people like Edward Snowden, when it comes to the insane treatment of Julian Assange, when it comes to the past commentary we've heard from government officials, from the press, in regard to the sensitive nature of classified documents, it is incredible to see them all of a sudden treat Donald Trump so differently when he very clearly mishandled classified documents. But let me continue with that graphic I was reading.
Yeah, well,
because there's more information there that I
our
think is
government leans
relevant
conservative,
to
our
know
people
about.
lean liberal.
So a team soon came upon records that are extremely restricted, so much so that even some of the senior, most national security officials in the Biden administration weren't authorized to view them. It's really important to understand the sensitivity of the documents, right? Because, again, we're not talking about recipes, we're not talking about, you know, sometimes the government tends to classify documents that I don't think really need to be classified. However, what we're talking about here, military capabilities, plans for some sort of government mission, information about a foreign government's nuclear capabilities. Like, these are actual sensitive documents. And so it was the last batch of documents that were seized where this information...
This might be the beginning of a longer recording.
...and its nuclear defense capabilities.
This is going to be over real quick.
The same question that Martha McCollum asked in the beginning of the story. What was it about those documents that made Donald Trump want to hold on to them so badly? And more importantly, what was it about those documents? What did he intend to do with those highly sensitive documents? Where he had his lawyer lie on his behalf and tell the DOJ that Trump no longer had possession of any more documents from the White House. You know, I mean, you could really only speculate at this point. Was he planning on using those documents against the country in some way? I don't know. Was he planning on selling those documents? I don't know. What I do know is Donald Trump is definitely willing to sell out the country for profit. He used his office of the presidency to enrich himself and funnel taxpayer money to his personal businesses. We saw it happen over and over and over again. So was there a profit motive in mind? Maybe. But it is a little questionable when you look at the sensitivity of the documents and his unwillingness to turn it over, to the point where the FBI had to conduct a raid to find the documents and seize the documents. Now, speaking of Trump's lawyers, by the way, one of them refused to address these relevant questions and instead decided to make a big deal about the fact that the leaks exist in the first place. So Christopher Kise, one of his lawyers, says, leaks about the case continue with no respect for the process nor any regard
money
for
just
the real truth.
funneling in.
This does not serve well the interests of justice. And look, some might argue, and I in some ways I do agree that these leaks are not good. You know, it's not good to have people close to the
Hey, I forgot I had a Valentino on the payroll.
To the press. At the same time, I do think it's in the public's interest to know about the genuine sensitivity of these documents. Because fact of the matter is, Trump has been investigated plenty of times. Those investigations, even with some damning evidence associated with them, did not yield any real prosecution. William Barr, who's actually very critical of Donald Trump in this particular instance, is under the impression that there will never be any prosecution of Donald Trump. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But Trump has denied that he was ever in possession of any documents pertaining to nuclear capabilities. He responded by getting pretty angry about it. But here's something you should also know about. The subpoena issued to Trump's custodian of records listed listed more than 24 subclassifications of documents, including S/FRD, an abbreviation for formally restricted data, which is reserved for information that relates primarily to the military use of nuclear weapons. And this is important to keep in mind. Despite the formerly in the title, the term does not mean the information is no longer classified. In other words, the documents were still very much classified, so much so that even members of Biden's team would not be able to view them. Now, what makes this investigation even more shaky at this point is that the federal judge, a story that we talked about yesterday, has granted Donald Trump this so-called special master to review all of the documents that were seized from Trump to determine whether any of those documents are protected under...
Yes, I am going too fast. It's one of the things I do now. I go too fast.
The reason why that's happening, the reason why the Trump team wants that to happen, is because it's going to delay this investigation. And he is honestly an expert at delaying investigations, as we've learned when it comes to obtaining his tax documents. And so that's the whole point of this. William Barr, his former Attorney General, has said as much. And the special master has yet to be appointed. Like, the entire process of appointing a special master is likely to take some time. And then determining which documents are protected under privilege will take some time. Determining whether or not privilege even makes sense, executive privilege even makes sense in this context when Donald Trump is no longer president of the United States, that part is going to take some time.
I wish we had tunnels like this in the U.S.
William Barr had to say about...
I mean, we don't have as many mountains, I guess, but...
granting Trump a special master, he disagrees with it. He finds...
Seems like we're a lot more likely to go over hills than through them, though.
Let's watch.
The question presented here is one she doesn't even address, but it's the only issue really in dispute, which is, can a former president say that this document, an executive privilege, precludes executive branch agents who are looking into whether a crime was committed from reviewing those documents? It's too early to say that they're going to try to put those documents before a grand jury. There's no contemplation right now or proposal to put it outside the executive branch. So her decision is premature. And the dispute isn't over whether this document is potentially executive privilege and this one isn't. That's not the dispute. The dispute is whether the president, even if it is executive privilege, can the president bar DOJ from reviewing the documents? And the answer to that, I think, is clearly no.
So let me decode the argument he's making there, and I actually completely agree with him. I'm no legal expert, but what he's saying makes a lot of sense. I never thought in a million years I would say that about William Barr, okay?
Right.
What he's saying makes sense, because his argument is the DOJ should be able to review all the documents, even if some of those documents are allegedly protected under privilege, right? Attorney-client privilege or executive privilege. It's an entirely different case when you're talking about presenting those documents before a grand jury,
and then
right? When you're
right.
presenting documents before a grand jury as part of the evidence against Donald Trump, well, then you can hash out whether or not the documents you want to present as evidence are protected under attorney-client privilege or executive privilege. What he's arguing here is that the judge made a premature ruling pertaining to whether or not the DOJ can review those documents before they're even presented before a grand jury. And as we all know, the judge's ruling, again, prevents the DOJ from doing that. A little more from his statement here that just kind of helps to elaborate the point he's making.
That is a very narrow toll area.
Bar DOJ from reviewing the documents? And the answer to that, I think, is clearly no.
So you're saying that that only comes into play if you're going to put those documents before a grand jury.
Right.
So that in this venue, this period of this investigation, within the executive branch, there's no ability for the president to say, I brought these with me, they're my papers, I have every right to keep them at the House if I want to keep them at the House, and you can't look at them, Department of Justice.
Totally wrong. Totally wrong.
Totally wrong. Now look, I don't know what
Get ready to
motivates
turn
William Barr. I can't help but think back to when he intentionally misrepresented the
Turn
Mueller
left.
report to the public. And it seems as though, you know, when he's in the good graces of Donald Trump or whoever he's serving, he has no problem lying on their behalf or twisting, you know, his legal expertise to fit a narrative that supports his favored president. And as we know, Donald Trump and William Barr are not on good terms because, to William Barr's credit, I feel a little disgusting saying it, but to his credit, he refused to carry out Trump's nonsense about overturning the election after he had lost to Joe Biden.
Get ready to
So
turn
they had a
right.
falling
Okay.
out, and it could be the case that William Barr is now giving actual enlightened
Turn
legal
right.
expertise in commenting on this story. But I will say, that was an interview
At the
on Fox
roundabout,
News.
Take the
I don't
second
know
exit.
if the commentary he provided there, the legal analysis he provided
Exit
there, has
now.
any impact on conservatives who happen to support Trump no matter what.
Turn right.
But as I've said before, and I'll say again, the most important thing to keep in mind here is that this is not, and it should not
Turn
be,
left.
a partisan issue. We should not create a system in which a president can break whatever
Fine.
law he
We
wants
are hit.
with absolutely no consequences.
Where do you
Again,
need
for
it?
me personally, don't care that he was a Republican president, don't care that I disliked him. If it were Barack Obama who did this, I would want him to be investigated to the fullest extent. If an ordinary U.S. citizen had stolen classified documents and stored it in their storage closet, there would be no discussion about whether or not that individual's rights are being violated in the process of an investigation into what they had done. The idea that Donald Trump will not be prosecuted, and that is what William Barr thinks, is insane to me. I think William Barr is probably right. I think that we should lower our expectations, if we have any expectations, that Trump will ultimately pay the price for what he has done. But what I'm worried about is what impunity for people in positions of power or for the elite means for the future. Because what Trump tried to pull after the 2020 election, his attempts at overturning the will of the people in this country and essentially just stealing the election, declaring himself a winner. The reason why he thought he could do that, and all his lackeys thought they could do that, is because they thought there won't be any consequences at all. Why not try it? What could go wrong?
Almost.
It's not like we're going to be punished for it. Now, some of his lackeys are dealing with some punishment, some investigations. Trump is being investigated. But again, when there are no consequences, when an administration does something like, let's say, commit war crimes, for instance, or engage in warrantless wiretapping of Americans, if they don't suffer consequences for that, it sends a message that people in the executive branch can do whatever they want, regardless of how it dismantles our democracy or our civil liberties, with impunity. And they should try whatever it is that they want to try. No consequences, right? And I think that is a scary country to live in, and I don't want to support that kind of
Okay.
two-tiered justice system
Let's
where all
see.
of us get crushed with laws that people in positions of power get to get away with. Anyway, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll switch gears a little bit and talk about more Republicans running away from their anti-abortion position.
I'm looking
I love
for...
it, but we need to hold them accountable for who they really are. Come right back. What's up, everyone? Welcome to our first social break of the day.
I might be doing it today, Gravy. It depends on how the family does or doesn't do things.
I hope you are keeping cool and comfy. Hey, TYT fans.
I'm kind of at their mercy on that one right now. I'm trying to do something that I could stop in the middle of if we're going to be doing like a family thing until I know better what the...
better by tomorrow. But thank you for that. It's been just excruciating, very, very hot.
what
in
the
Los
situation
Angeles.
is.
And I feel bad for Charlie because I can't walk him unless it's really, really early in the morning or when the sun goes down because the pavement is way too hot. If you're also experiencing a heat wave, you're in the west coast of the country, just be mindful of that because I think it's easy to forget how hot the pavement is. And if you're walking your dog,
No,
you don't want them to
I
burn
feel
themselves.
I feel don't add any more games until you finish all the ones you're playing. You know what I'm saying? I agree with that. I would put Spider-Man off, but I've borrowed it from a friend, so I need to finish it. So I'm gonna be making a point
be clear.
to, while playing Euro Truck Simulator 2, finish a bunch of games this month, if I can, and or next month.
But
Alright,
I wouldn't
for anybody,
classify
well,
it as
actually, let me just keep it going for a second here.
all this information about his crimes, and I still have
So we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. Normally I would end the recording there, and if you want to go on to the next video for YouTube for what I'm going to be,
cults of personality
here we
in this
go.
country, and for a lot of
You might
Trump
remember this
supporters, I think
viewpoint.
what they get out of a Trump presidency is owning the
I am going to be going to the next destination in which we were going to be picking up a cargo to do a very special achievement. So I will not be delivering cargo, I will be driving over there because there is no other way to do this.
And it's really unfortunate because if that's what your politics come down to,
But I agree with you, Gravy Coffee.
you're working against yourself,
The problem
against
is,
the country. But there's a reason why that's
my
happening.
normal way of playing
Happens
games doesn't work for my normal way of
to
streaming
run
games.
due to corporate
My normal way of
finance,
streaming
but
games...
You're gonna run into these issues.
Oh, hello Gaffer, also.
Science
My normal way of streaming games,
on Twitch,
um,
I guess,
is to play mostly what the audience wants me to play. And Euro Truck Simulator 2 won the poll last month, so that's what I'm focusing on. But normally when I play a game, I sit and I play it super hard for many consecutive sittings whenever I'm up and able, and I go through it as thoroughly as I want at whatever speed I want, usually going pretty slow because I like to do the stealth. Gravy Coffee asks if this game ever ends. Technically, I will at least be done with this game between DLCs if I manage to get to the point where I've completed lots of its content. I am currently on a very long road to achievements, but this game has about 12 years of achievements, and some of them are very long. For example, there's an achievement for revealing on the map. You can look on the mini-map and see there's gray areas on the mini-map. The gray areas on the minimap turning orange, for example, is road completion. And there is an achievement for 100% road completion, which I think is actually like 95% road completion. 12 years in real life for completion? I don't think it would take 12 years in real life to complete. But I have been playing this game for 3 different periods over the course of like a year and a half. So
unless the mother's life is in danger.
Let's see here.
Now with voters outraged at that message and with a
So it has been a bit of time. And every time you add DLC to the game, getting to that full map completion, just that one achievement, gets further and further away. All roads except exits and gas stations? In Euro Truck, yes. But again, the achievement has some wiggle room in which it actually calculates for like 95%.
And more money in the family budget. That's what I'll fight for. Let's focus on the issues that matter.
Is that what you'll fight for? Is that what you'll fight for? Honestly, it's unclear what you would fight for. Because, much like other Republican...
If you guys want me to stop the news, I can do that.
no problem using women and babies.
Keep forgetting to join the Discord server? Well, it's !Discord in the chat.
Personal political ambition.
Gaffer's on it. Oh, that reminds me. Gaffer, did you remember to vote in the poll? I am merely trying to politely remind you. You said you'd do it later. And I haven't seen any more votes since around the time you said that, so I assume that you have not. Otherwise, there's an error and I need to fix the poll. Stop news, stop news, stop news. Alright, stopping the news. Let's calm down. Everything is fine. Let me open up my playlist of Muzak. Double check my audio levels. Should be okay. Oh, I need to turn off the picture-in-picture, though. How come my followers keep going down? They don't keep going down, but every little while, Twitch realizes that I got followed by some bots. Which I did in the last month. I got trolled a bunch of times by people who got their accounts banned. So when you get your account banned, you can't follow someone, obviously, because you don't exist anymore. So I had people who were showing up in my Stray playthrough, and they were spoiling the ending of the game. I had people in ETS telling me that I wasn't a real gamer because I don't always play in first person. There were a surprising number of trolls last month. I assume because of the tags on my stream, like autistic and stuff like that. You know, people being little hate assholes, as tends to be the case. In case you didn't know, Gravy, the reason that we were always a little sus about how you were perceived on stream is because you appeared shortly after some trolls who were just, like, acting up in chat. And that's not your fault, but it's just, like, it was a little bit weird of a situation where we were not sure if you were them with, like, a fourth set of names because of the timing that you appeared on stream. I don't know if you know that. That is a thing that happened right around the time that you first came to stream. And so my follower count is very, very, very slowly progressing upwards. But every few months, we get, usually during the summer, people who are like trolling on stream. And because they get their accounts banned because they're trying to be hateful, like they're doing hate raids or something like that. At one point, I got followed by like 45 additional names one night and broke 200 the first time, I think. But it was all people who were shouting, kill little N-word children in the chat room, and they were all following, and they were all spamming hate speech. And that was one of my hate raids. And all those accounts were, you know, one hateful bot farm. And eventually those all got purged, so my number went way back down. So that's all to say, I can confirm my account, my follow numbers are very slowly ticking upwards, and have been for over 2 years. But every once in a while, you get a bunch of bots on here, and those bots are
Then exit right.
very, either they're bots, or they're trolls who are getting their accounts banned,
Right.
and those getting purged end up making the number go down briefly. Like, I never thought I cracked 215. Are you still sus of me? No, I think if you were gonna do something, you'd have done it by now. You have a certain aggressive way of speaking, and you don't use punctuation, so you still sometimes come across maybe a little bit more strongly than maybe you mean. But I mean, you know, it's not so much sus as it is keeping that knowledge in the back of my head, right? Hopefully nothing will come of it, but something might. Like, if you ever go crazy, like, for example, every time Molly shows up, and you're like, oh, the police are here, because she's a mod. I don't know what communities you've been in which the mods are like a cab situation, but Molly's cool. Molly I would consider a friend at this point, but it seems every time she speaks up in chat and you're present, you have something negative to say about Molly being present, and I don't know what that is, but being somewhat hostile towards the moderators can lead to unsurety on the part of the streamer as to why you might be doing that. You know, just being totally honest. Some people just have a certain way about them, like, and you just have to learn it as you go. I have some people who were very consistently on stream with me who are not anymore, and I don't know why. There was one, Gohan. I wonder to this day where Gohan went. Ratchet vanishes for weeks at a time and then shows up to say hello. You mean like something like this, saying the moderator got arrested for being sus? I mean, yes? I don't even know exactly what that means, but it sounds negative towards the moderator, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's... I don't know. Now, in previous recordings, I have gone through the effort of just doing a quick trip, which would certainly serve the purposes of getting my truck from its destination to where it needs to go, or rather getting the achievement. But I'm just choosing not to do that this time. Coffee says, I am a moderator for a few people, even someone with 30k followers. Ah, could that person ever raid me? That would be nice. What is that person's stream? So you're just saying that you bring that over from being a moderator in other chats? Gavver says, won't you mind if I join you in a game? I wasn't gonna mind yesterday, Gaffer. If you want, I'm about to do a mission for achievements. Man, this is a much longer drive than I expected. I'm glad I told people that they could skip to the next video if they wanted. Have you ever played for guys? Played for guys? I've ever played Fall Guys. Yes, I have played Fall Guys. I played it when it originally came out on the PlayStation 4, and recently I played it when it went free for play. I got a crown the very first time I tried the game, again since it went free to play, and because of that, I felt like I was done unless somebody else wanted to play it with me. Like, I think before then, I'd gotten the crown twice, many months ago when the game originally launched. But, I seriously, I installed it. I played it one time to refresh myself, and that one time I played it, I got the crown. I was like, alright, well, did it. Can you live stream it sometime? We can do custom? What is custom? It's not a problem if you just want to... well, I wouldn't say I'm farming achievements. I'm doing achievements. Yeah, I don't know custom match. I don't... I've only recently heard that there's different modes in the game.
Turn left.
I mean, if you want, Gaffer. I mean... it's not like we've never played together before. We did Rocket League the other night. Let me get to my destination.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
And be ready to pick up a mission, and if you want, you can join me. I think you would have to send me a Steam Friends request because I don't think we're friends on Steam. And that is the easiest way to join in. Did I post Am I Molasses on my channel yet? I don't know what that is.
At the roundabout, take the first exit.
Okay, I am going to rest to make it daylight. The big problem with playing with other people is you no longer have control over the weather. Like, you can't just make it daylight for everybody who's watching on stream. Whoa, that was a lot of money that rolled in. It's not molasses, it's Morales. And yes. Wait, no, not. Wait, let me think. 9-9. I believe the first 2 episodes went live today or yesterday. And then a single episode will post every single day until the beginning of next month. So Spider-Man Miles Morales should be posting. Then when it's done, either the completion will play or it will switch to Stray. That cop car was not going to slow down. It almost hit me. Alright, you might remember this
And then turn right.
road from earlier in the playthrough.
Turn right.
Let's see. Very barely on the analog trigger. I still don't know what to do in situations like this if another vehicle is coming towards you.
Turn left.
Oops. Gavin says, I notice that I often write in such a way that I am demanding something. I want to apologize if I once pressured you with my messages. It's just how I learned the language. Oh. I have never gotten that impression from you, Gaffer. Please also accept my apology if I'm ever like, hey, Gaffer, did you vote in the poll because you said you would? As, like, I'm not trying to, like, harp on you or nag you, or I'm just trying to politely remind, you know, hey, you said you would, and it doesn't look like anybody did. Like, so my apology also, you know, preemptively goes out to you in that case. Alright. We are getting prepared to pick up a job. We might be doing it with Gaffer. For anybody who's watching later on YouTube, I would like to thank you for watching. This has been Euro Truck Simulator 2, presented by Improvision Entertainment and voted on by viewers such as yourself. I've been Hunterman, and I will see you in the future.